Leading out for your Lumberjacks, number 18, Kyler Vaughn. Batting second, number 20, Caden Clifford. Batting third, number 22, Parker Fagans. Batting fourth, number 34, Elias Rainier. And batting fifth, number 9, Zach Perry. And batting sixth, number 5, Mason Regan. And batting seventh, number 12, Bryson Satterley. Batting eighth, number 1, Johnny Robledo. And batting ninth, number 4, Cooper Snyder. And on the mound for your Lumberjacks, it's number 10, Jack Weiss. At this time, we ask that fans please remove their hats and listen to the playing of our stars from the band.
Hello, Lumberjacks Nation. Welcome to Kelly McGregor Field, back at home field for the Colorado Lumberjacks after 2 games in Rock Canyon High School. Ben Canvasser for the Colorado Lumberjacks. Thrilled to be with you on another beautiful evening in the Denver metropolitan area for this presentation of the Rocky Mountain Baseball League. It's your Colorado Lumberjacks playing the Boulder 64s. Could not be any more thrilled to have you here. I got to say, this is my first time here at Kelly McGregor Field at All-Star Park, and the press box area setup is second to none that I've experienced so far in my Colorado baseball travels. But nonetheless, we have baseball ahead of you, and after back-to-back losses for the Lumberjacks, they're looking to get back into the win column, and they're going to do that behind number 10, Jack Weiss, on the mound, who will be throwing for the home Lumberjacks wearing black. Leading things off is going to be Parker Noah, the left fielder for the Boulder 64s. That's named the 64s. That team's coming back in 2025 to honor the founding year for the Boulder franchise, originally in the NBC League. 1964, one of the oldest franchises in this Rocky Mountain Baseball League. Game time temperature creeping just below the 90s, 89 degrees with a wind blowing in pretty aggressively from center field on in. A picture-perfect night for baseball. We know you might be sitting around the TV getting ready for the U.S. to play the round of 32 matchup in the World Cup, but we do appreciate you being with us. It should be a phenomenal game of baseball. The last 2 games, we've seen so many home runs. Hoping tonight it's going to be more on the side of the Lumberjacks. 2 last night, including a massive home run from Kyler Vaughn back in the 3rd inning, a part of a 9-run 3rd inning for the Jacks.
Leading off for the Boulder 64s, number 17, Parker Noah.
So as you heard Parker Noah, the first one up to the dish, a righty batter facing the tall number 10, Jack Weiss. We are set to go from All-Star Park. Thrilled to have you with us, Ben Canvasser, Colorado Lumberjacks. Here we go for some Rocky Mountain baseball. First pitch to Noah is in there for strike 1. Weiss on the season, 13.2 innings pitched, and the 0-1 pitch to Noah is high for ball one. ERA of 7.24, 15 strikeouts, 11 walks for number 10, Jack Weiss. Here's the 1-1 to Noah, and that is a breaking ball in there for strike two, just catching the outside corner of the plate. So Weiss ahead of the count, 1-2. Long stretch. Here's the 1-2, and that ball is flared into right field, and that is going to be caught by the right fielder today, Cooper Nider, who had a big game yesterday for the Jacks, including 3 hits, as well as a big RBI double to tie the game up in the 6th inning. So Noah down, that's going to bring up Caden Cooper, the right fielder.
Batting up next for the 64s, number 4, Caden Cooper.
So Cooper working against Weiss. Lefty batters, Caden Cooper, open stance. Here's the first pitch to Cooper. Swing and a miss on a fastball down low. Cooper playing his baseball at Glendale Community College. Number 4, the outfielder. Today playing right field for the 64s. One pitch from White, and that is slapped foul back out onto the street. So Weiss quickly ahead 0-2 against Cooper. Weiss looking in. Cooper with the open stance. Here's the 0-2. Outside for ball one. One-two from Weiss, and that is going to be chopped foul down the third base line into the Boulder dugout. So count still 1-2 against Cooper. Here's the pitch from Weiss, and that is inside for ball 2. Weiss still working here in the first inning. Got the first out, and here's the 1-2 pitch, and that ball is once again slap foul back towards the Boulder dugout. Good at bat here for Caden Cooper, looking to extend his at bat. And once again, Cooper follows it back towards his dugout. Clear sign that he is a little early on these pitches from White. White looking to get the second out of the inning. Taking a look at your infielders today for your Jacks. Franier at first base. Playing second base is going to be Mason Regan. Shortstop, Caden Clifford. And Cooper's going to bounce it right back to Weiss. He's going to jog it over to Franier, and that's the second out of the inning. Rounding out your infield, number 9, Zach Perry playing third base.
Number 21, Grant Sonke.
First pitch in there for strike to Grant Sonke. Sonke playing center field today, so all 3 outfielders batting 1, 2, and 3. And Sonke blast this one to right field, and this one danger. But making a diving grab, Cooper Nider, 2 big plays in the first inning. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Jack Weiss and a 1-2-3 inning for the Jacks. They'll bat in the bottom half of the first inning. When we return to All-Star Park, you're watching a presentation of the Rocky Mountain Baseball League and your Colorado Lumberjacks. Back here at All-Star Park, heading to the bottom of the first inning between the Boulder 64s and your Colorado Lumberjacks. Jacks will bat, and they'll be led off by Kyler Vaughn, who, as I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, 3-run homer run yesterday in the third inning as a part of a 9-run third inning for the Jacks. Caden Clifford on deck, or Caden Clifford on deck, and Parker Fagans playing DH today in the hole. We are set to go. Jensen Planaski on the mound for Boulder. And here's the first pitch to Vaughn, and that's going to clip him on the inside of that left shoulder. So one pitch and one man on for the Jacks, and that's going to bring up Caden Clifford.
Up next for your Lumberjacks, number 20, Caden Clifford.
Obviously, you don't want to see anybody get hit, but having the leadoff man in the bottom of the first inning, definitely a good sign for the Jacks. And now Clifford, who's had a couple of good games this week against the Liberal BJs, now stepping in lefty batter to face Planaski. And here is the first pitch to Clifford, and that is way outside, and that gets away from the catcher, and Vaughn could walk to second base. He is going to steal second. And just like that, after 2 pitches, the Jacks already with a runner in scoring position. So now here's the 1-0 pitch to Clifford. Planaski takes a look back at second base. Runner goes. The throw down to third base is going to be in time as Vaughn looked like he beat the throw, but then on the pop-up left the bag. So we've had 3 pitches. We've had a hit by pitch. We've had a pass ball, and now we've had somebody being thrown out at third base. So the count 2-0 against Clifford, 1 out, still here in the bottom of the first. Caden Clifford playing shortstop tonight for the Jacks. Clifford now showing bunt, and once again that pitch outside of the strike zone for ball 3. Parker Fagans waiting on deck. The 3-0 from Planaski, and that is high for ball 4. So, apologies, that is only ball 3. So the count remains 3-0, or was that in there for a strike? Here's the 3-1 pitch. That is in there for strikes 2, so now the count full. So with the count full, Planaski, after a rough pitch, is looking to get Clifford out, and has a breaking ball that just misses on the inside for ball 4. So now Clifford will walk, and that'll bring up Parker Fagans, the DH.
Up next for your Lumberjacks, it's the designated hitter, number 22, Parker Fagans.
So with Fagans up to bat, batted 5 times yesterday, an RBI single in the third inning against the BJs, 2 more singles, and then a couple of outs, batting 3 for 5 on the day. And he gets hit again, I believe. That ball made contact with Fagans. Fagans is going to stay in the box. I did hear something ricochet. Must have touched the glove of the catcher, but as it stands, Clifford able to make his way to second base on the pass ball. And now Fagans is going to chop this to the second baseman, Martin. The play over to first base is going to be in time to get out Fagans. Clifford will move over to third, and that's going to bring up Elias Frenier.
Up next for your Lumberjacks, number 34, it's the first baseman, Elias Frenier.
So Frenier standing in there, lefty batter with a leading run 90 feet away, represented by Caden Clifford. Planaski's first pitch, and that is in there for strike 1. Catching the outside corner of the plate, so the count 0-1. Dwyer, Johnson, and Alvarez due up in the next inning for Boulder. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and that is inside. It gets away. Clifford got a good jump, and he is going to steal home on the pass ball, the fourth pass ball of the inning for Boulder, and the first run of the game for the Jacks. So now bases empty, and the count 1-1 for Clifford. Not having to do much of anything there to help bring the run home. It's Caden Clifford able to score, stealing 2 bases on pass balls. Here is the 1-0 from Planaski, and that is high as well for ball 2. Zach Perry on deck for the Jacks. Open stance for Frenier. Here's the 2-1 pitch, and that is outside as well for ball 3. So command a little bit of a problem right now for Jensen Planaski. A couple of pass balls. Now the 3-1 to Frenier, and that is high and outside, and another pass ball. So the second walk of the inning. Frenier on with 2 outs, and that's going to bring up Zach Perry.
Up next for your Lumberjacks, it's the third baseman, number 9, Zach Perry.
Now the catcher for the 64 is going to come out and have a word with Planaski to make sure he is okay. There's been a couple of misses high and outside for 57 and gray today. Just want to make sure that everything is all good and the communication is still working. Catcher will come back now, back behind home plate. Still 2 outs here in the bottom of the first inning. Jacks lead 1-0 on the pass ball. Caden Clifford walked and was able to score on that pass ball. On the righty, Zach Perry playing third base today for the Jacks. Up to bat with Frenier at first. Here's the first pitch from Planaski, and once again, that is inside. He is having some trouble getting that ball across the plate, and all of the misses coming into that righty batter's box. So now 1-0 against Perry. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and that is in there for strike 1 right down the middle. So finding it a little bit there. Mason Regan, the second baseman, on deck for the Jacks. Came in last night in a pitching outing. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that is high for ball 2. Regan was able to get 1 strikeout last night in relief in a game that had gotten away from the Jacks late in the 8th inning. So it's 2-2. Planaski takes a look in. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball. That one stays up for ball 3. Now the count full. Full count for Planaski, looking to avoid walking his third batter in the first inning. Frenier with a big lead at first base. And that one is roped into left field, coming under it to make the grab as Parker Noah to end the inning. But the Jacks get 1 on the pass ball. They'll head to the second with the lead to score 1-0 from All-Star Park. You're watching a presentation of the Rocky Mountain Baseball League. Back here at Kelly McGregor Field, top of the second inning between the Jacks and the Boulder 64. Lumberjacks scored one in the top half of the first inning on a pass ball. Now it's going to be Jack Weiss once again on the mound. He's able to get a 1-2-3 inning in the first inning. Ground out to him, and then 2 catches made in right field by Cooper Nider playing in that position today. Now it's going to bring up Jesse Aguirre.
Shortstop number 31, Jesse Aguirre.
So Aguirre, righty batter. Open stance, working against Weiss. Here's the first pitch, and that ball is smacked into center field. A rope by Aguirre, and the leadoff man on for Boulder.
Up next for Boulder, third baseman number 2, Yale Johnson.
Now Yale Johnson up to bat. No outs here in the top of the second inning. These two teams faced each other back on June 27th. It was a 13-10 victory for the Boulder 64, so the Jacks looking to get a little bit of revenge on their Boulder counterparts. Yale Johnson now up to bat. He's squaring up for a bunt. That pitch thrown outside for ball 1. Johnson will step back into the box. Weiss throws over to first base, looking to keep Aguirre there. Yale Johnson playing third base today for the Boulder 64s. Damian Alvarez, number 25 on deck. Alvarez coming off a state championship season with the University High School Bulldogs, as they exercise some demons in the state championship this year in the 3A division in Colorado. Now Weiss taking a look down. Here is the 1-0 pitch from Weiss, and that ball is roped into left field. Aguirre will round second base. The throw will come in. So the first 2 batters on.
Now batting for the 64s, designated hitter number 25, Damian Alvarez.
And Alvarez with some pop in that bat. I was up there in Greeley calling the 3A state baseball playoffs. Watched him launch a grand slam against the rival Eaton Reds in the semifinal game to extend the Bulldogs' lead to 18-0 in that one. But now in a situation, 2 men on, no outs, top of the second inning. Weiss takes a look back at second base. Here's the first pitch to Alvarez, and that is low and away for ball 1. Two singles here in the top of the second for the 64s. The 1-0 pitch, and that one is fouled back. And that is going to be out of play, and you wonder if that is going to make it all the way to Sheridan. So we count now 1-1, still with no outs. Jacks looking to get out of the inning unscathed and keep their 1-0 lead, but the 64s threatening with 2 men on. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that ball is smacked up the gap. And this is going to be 2 for the Jacks. The throw over to Frenier is in time, so the Jacks get a double play. It's a 6-3 unassisted double play.
Now batting for the 64s, first baseman number 18, Logan Carney.
Unassisted there by Caden Clifford.
Number 18, Logan Carney.
Now Logan Carney, the first baseman, up to bat for the 64s. 2 outs. Jesse Aguirre on third base representing the tying run. Weiss going to attack here. First pitch fouled down the third base line. Count 0-1. Logan Carney playing baseball at Arkansas Tech. Young man playing in the infield tonight at first base, working against Jack Weiss. The count 0-1 against him, runner in scoring position. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball. Satterley has to get down to block that, and the count 0-2. Weiss ahead here. Jack's looking to get out of the inning, surrendering 0 runs. And here's the 0-2 pitch from Weiss, and that is outside of the corner for a called third strike. Jack Weiss gets a double play, strikes out Carney, and we head to the bottom half of the second inning, and the Jacks still lead 1-0. Stick around, you're watching a presentation of Colorado Lumberjacks baseball. And we're back here in All-Star Park, Lakewood, Colorado. Bottom half of the second inning set to begin. Jack's up to bat, going to be led off by Mason Regan, the second baseman. Jacks were able to get one in the bottom of the first inning. A couple of pass balls getting by the catcher, E.J. Leans. And now Jensen Plansky still in there, having some command issues in the first inning, but was able to come back with a inning-ending double play against Zach Perry. So now Mason Regan will step into bat, righty batter.
Now batting for your Lumberjacks, number 5, the second baseman, Mason Regan.
And Regan swings at the first pitch, and this one, it might be trouble into deep left field. But coming in to make the catch is Parker Noah. Has been busy out there in that left field spot.
Up next for your Lumberjacks, the catcher, number 12, Bryson Satterley.
Bryson Satterley now up to bat, playing catcher tonight. Had a stint at second base last night. And he'll face Plansky. One pitch, one out for him. And that is a breaking ball that stays inside for ball 1. Wind blowing in from center field. Deep fence on left field. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That's another breaking ball that once again stays inside for ball 2. So now Plansky behind the count, 2-0. Satterley up to bat. There's the 2-0 pitch, and once again inside for ball 3. Johnny Robledo playing center field tonight on deck for the Jacks. Satterley able to get a hit last night against the BJs, looking at a 3-0 pitch, and that one way outside or way inside, apologies, and over the head of Satterley for ball 4. So that is the third walk of the game for Jensen Planaski.
Now batting for your Lumberjacks, center fielder number 1, Johnny Robledo.
Now bring up Johnny Robledo, who got the night off yesterday for the Jacks. Back today, batting in the 8th spot with Cooper Nider batting in the 9th spot. And after the game yesterday that he had, got to feel comfortable with your 9-hole hitter. But now here's Robledo with a runner on in Bryson Satterley, the very speedy Satterley. And that ball is inside for ball 1. And on the count 1-0, Robledo takes a look at a fastball down the middle. The take sign was on for Johnny Robledo, and the count 1-1. And Satterley goes the throw a little bit wide from the catcher, E.J. Lyons. So Satterley able to get into second base, runner in scoring position for the Jacks. And the count 2-1. So already a couple of steals tonight for the Jacks, looking to manufacture some runs. The 2-1 pitch, and that one gets behind the catcher, and Satterley is going to take third. As E.J. Lyons having some trouble behind home plate, keeping the balls in front of him. And now the Jacks, just like that, with a runner in scoring position at third base. The very speedy Bryson Satterley. So Planaski behind the count 3-1. And that pitch inside for ball 4. And just like that, runners at the corners. Only one out, and that's going to bring up Cooper Nider.
Next up for the Lumberjacks, left fielder number 4, Cooper Nider.
So fourth walk of the game for Planaski. Cooper Nider up with runners at the corners. Still just one out. Jacks still looking for their first hit. There's a pitch inside. Robledo gets a great jump, and he's able to steal second easily. So now 2 runners in scoring position for the Lumberjacks. Looking to add to their lead here in the second inning. Five batters have gotten on for the Jacks with no hits, 4 walks and a hit by pitch. The 1-0 pitch is in there for strike 1. Inside corner of the plate. Jensen Planaski, a pitcher at Regis University, nearby Regis University. Here's the 1-1. Nider looks at that, goes high for ball 2. Top of the order, and Kyler Vaughn waiting on deck. Was hit by a pitch on the very first pitch of this ball game for the Jacks. Here's the 2-1 from Planaski, and that one is inside for ball 3. So the count quickly in the favor of Cooper Nider. And Vaughn waiting on deck, looking to have a chance here for bases loaded. Only 1 out. And the 3-1 pitch in there for strike 1, so now the count full. Third base coach for the Jacks telling him that the swing sign is on. You attack, you be a hitter at the plate. Full count, runners at the corners, 1 out here in the bottom of the second. Here's the 3-2 pitch. And that ball is laced into left field. 1 run's going to score. Robledo routing second. The throw to the plate is in time, and Robledo will actually backtrack to third. He'll be safe. Nider will go to second, and the Jacks have their second run of the game. So Satterley comes home. Robledo goes to third.
Now batting for the Lumberjacks, left fielder number 18, Kyle.
And now Kyler Vaughn up to bat with two in the middle that Nider took over the shortstop's head into left field. The lead has doubled here in the sixth. Vaughn once again first inning. Robledo at third. Nider at second. The first pitch to Vaughn is in there for strike one. Right down the middle. So Planaski, and in the count 0-1. Breaking ball, that one inside corner of the plate. Vaughn did not like that call for strike two. Vaughn looking back at home plate umpire to make sure that they're both on the same page. Steps back into the box behind 0-2. Nider at second base with a very large lead. And here's the 0-2 pitch, and that is high and outside, a fastball for ball one. Vaughn, yesterday, as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, a single and then a big 3-run home run, a part of a 9-run inning in the third for the Jacks. Behind the count 1-2, there's the 1-2 pitch, and that ball is chopped into shallow center field. That's going to get down. That's going to score 1 run. Nider is going to be waved home from third. There was a little bit of a hesitation from the throw in from the center fielder, Grant Sonke. Nider's able to score from second, and the Jacks have 2 more. They lead 4-0
Next
now.
up for your Lumberjacks, shortstop number 20, Caden Clifford.
So RBI, a 2-run RBI single for Vaughn. Scores both Robledo and Cooper Nider. The throw there not in time. And of getting to scoring position as quickly as possible. And now the pitching coach will come out to speak to Jensen Planaski. Still 1 out, score 4-0 now in favor of the Lumberjacks, who after the last 2 games were hoping to get out to a hot start, and they've done exactly that on 2 hits now. It was a single by Cooper Nider to score the first run of this inning, and then a 2-run RBI single by Kyler Vaughn. And now that will bring up Caden Clifford, who walked last inning. Taking a look at my notes here about the Boulder 64, formerly known as the Boulder Collegians. A couple of very famous players have played for Boulder, including both World Series winners Joe Madden and Terry Francona. Once played for Boulder in their playing days. Joe Carter, Bob Horner, Mark Langston, Bob Welch, Spike Owen, Mickey Tettleton, also Boulder alumni. This incredibly historic franchise that dates back all the way to 1964. 4-time NBC World Series titles back in 66, 67, 75, and 78. The first pitch is in there for strike one to Clifford. Also a fun fact here, apparently Joe Madden proposed to his wife during his summer in Boulder playing for the 64. So Joe Madden with a lot of history with this Boulder franchise. Second pitch was in there for a strike, so the count 1-2. Planaski, here's the 1-2 pitch, and that is swung and missed. Getting a piece of that was Clifford at the last second, so the count will remain 1-2. Proud franchise Boulder, they won 4 consecutive Mile High Collegiate Baseball League titles from 21 to 24. So here comes the 1-2 pitch to Clifford. And that ball is hit high into the air into right field. Caden Cooper will camp under it to make the grab. Vaughn took a step off the bag like he was looking to go. Instead, he'll go back to second base. So that is the second out of the inning. Down goes Caden Clifford. Parker Fagan's now up to bat for the Jacks.
Next up for your Lumberjacks, designated hitter number 22, Parker Fagans.
Fagans with a chance here to get the 5th run of the game in for the Jacks in just the bottom half of the second inning. Infield playing deep for Boulder. Fagan's playing straight up. Takes first ball down in the dirt. Up by Fagans. This is going to be in the inning, but the Jacks get 3. Cooper Nider and Kyler Vaughn deliver. They add 3 runs. They lead by a score of 4-0. We head to the 3rd inning at All-Star Park. You're watching this presentation of the Colorado Lumberjacks baseball.
Your home, make the call to ABE Remodeling today.
Back here at All-Star Park, set to begin the 3rd inning. Your Lumberjacks on top by a score of 4-0 over the visitors from Boulder. EJ Leans up to bat now for the 64s. Playing catcher today for Boulder.
Now batting for the 64s, second baseman number 27, Alex Martin.
Jack Weiss able to get out of that second inning.
Catcher number 8, EJ Lang.
Weiss struck out Carney to end the inning after the 64s were able to get the first 2 men on with back-to-back singles. Boulder was unable to score. Slanes looks at a first pitch ball high. And here's the 1-0 pitch from Weiss, and that is low and away, getting by Satterley back to the fence for ball 2. 2 hits in the ball game for the 64s, 2 for the Jacks. Jacks have had 7 men on. Weiss standing in here, righty versus righty, the 2-0 pitch, and that ball is going to be chopped to the shortstop Clifford. He's going to come up and make the throw over to Frenier, and that is the first out of the inning for the Lumberjacks.
Now batting for the 64s, second baseman number 27, Alex Martin.
Now they'll bring up Alex Martin, playing his ball at Northeast Community College. Woodbat leagues all over the country see some incredible talent. None more than here in the Rocky Mountain Baseball League. So many incredible teams, so many incredible states around the Rocky Mountain region. Here's the first pitch to Martin. Chop to Frenier, makes the play at first, and he'll walk over and tag the bag. 1 pitch, and that is the second out of the inning for Jack Weiss.
Next up for the 64s, left fielder number 17, Parker Noah.
Top of the order, Parker Noah flew out to Cooper Nider back in the first inning. Nobody on with 2 outs. Open stance for Noah. And here's the first pitch from Weiss, and that is low and away for ball 1. Parker Noah, Phoenix College outfielder. The 1-0 pitch to him, and that is going to be chopped to the second baseman, Mason Regan. The throw over to first base is in time. It's a 1-2-3 inning for the Jacks, and they will bat in the bottom of the 3rd. They lead 4-0 over the Boulder 64s. We'll be right back from All-Star Park in just a second. Welcome back to this presentation of the Rocky Mountain Baseball League. Jacks versus the 64s. Jacks on top 4-0 here as we go to the bottom half of the third inning. Elias Franier, the first baseman, will lead things off. He walked back in the first. Continuing to face Jensen Planaski.
The Lumberjacks, first baseman number 34, Elias Franier.
Franier yesterday getting the day off from playing in the field. Grounded into a double play in the first inning, and then after that it was 3 singles, 1 in the third, 1 in the sixth, and 1 in the seventh for the big lefty batter. Here's the first pitch from Planaski, and that is low and inside for ball 1. Zach Perry, who grounded into a double play back in the first inning, on deck. Jack's looking to get the leadoff man on. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Planaski, and that is fouled back down the first base line. Franier reading that one the entirety of the way, just got out in front of it. So a reset, Franier with an open stance. Count 1-1 against him. This time swinging a little bit too late on that breaking ball down low. Fouls that back out of play and over our heads. Count 1-2. If you're with us last night, you know we are not safe here, even in a covered building. So here's the 1-2 pitch. Franier takes a look at it outside for ball 2. Infield playing deep for the 64s. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Franier, and that ball takes a deflection off of the helmet of Lines. So the count remains 2-2. Franier, part of this Lone Tree Lumberjacks roster last year. Here's a 2-2 pitch, and that swing and a miss by Elias Franier. A good breaking ball up high with a little bit of pace on it from Planaski, and down goes the first batter for the Jacks.
Next up for the Lumberjacks, third baseman number 9, Zach Perry.
So Perry with 2 RBIs yesterday for the Jacks steps into the box. Nobody on. 1 out, bottom of the third. First pitch to Perry is low and away for ball 1. Wind a little bit calmer here at All-Star Park. The 1-0 pitch is in there for strike 1. Jacks only able to get 1 home run yesterday in the 22-12 loss to the Liberal BJs. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that is outside corner of the plate for strike 2. Perry will step back into the box, close stance for number 9 wearing the black tonight. Here's the 1-2 from Planaski, and that ball is fouled back high into the air. And just landing short of Sheridan. Count remains 1-2. Here's the 1-2 breaking ball. Smacked, flared into left field, and that ball's going to get down. It's a single for Zach Perry, is running over to try to make the grab as the second baseman, Alex Martin, just too long of a run for number 27 in gray.
Second baseman number 5, Mason Regan.
That is a single for Zach Perry, and that brings up Mason Regan, who flew out to left field back in the second inning to kick things off there. Now you wonder if Zach Perry is going to be on the go. Jacks seemingly steal a bag every time they have a man on. Planaski, not a lot of defense. Here's the first pitch, and that ball way inside. Lane's able to grab that and avoid Perry taking the bag, so the count 1-0. Good job by Mason Regan to stay in there. I don't know if I would have. Here's the 1-0 from Planaski, and that ball is smacked. It's going to get over the head of Martin and into right field. Perry rounding third, and he's going to be held up there. Regan able to slide into second base after the ball was bobbled by Caden Cooper. So just like last inning, two runners in scoring position.
Catcher number 12, Bryson Satterley.
Bryson Satterley up to bat, walked back in the second inning. Runners at second and third, still just one out. And now we'll have a little bit of a mound visit by the catcher, E.J. Lines. Just looking to have a little bit of a conversation here. Lines will return back to home plate. Wind dying down has become a good thing. All of my papers are staying in one place. The weather a little bit cooler now compared to the last 2 days. Last night we had some rain out of nowhere, but you come to expect that when you live in Colorado. So Satterley now at the plate, working against Planaski. 2 runners on, 1 out. Here's the first pitch to Satterley, and that is low and in the dirt. Line stops that. Count 1-0. And the 1-0 pitch gets over the catcher lanes. And now they're in a situation where Regan's going to get thrown out at second base. And is this potentially going to be a double play? It will not, as Perry's able to get back to third base. A little bit of confusion on the base pass as Perry looked like he was going to take home after the ball got past the head of lanes. But Perry stopped halfway between third and home. And that left Mason Regan out to dry as he gets thrown out at second base. Now 2 outs. Count 2-0 against Satterley. Here's the 2-0 pitch, and that is way inside once again by Planaski, and the count 3-0. Johnny Robledo on deck, walked in the second inning, hoping to have an opportunity with 2 men on. 3-0 from Planaski, and that is right down the middle for strike 1. Planaski back into his stance. Here's the 3-1 pitch and swing and foul back behind home plate. So the count full now with 2 outs. And in a similar situation are the Jacks that the 64s were in back in the second inning, having 2 men on and 1 out in scoring position. Planaski working against Satterley. Here's the 3-2 pitch. And that bounces in for ball 4, so now runners at the corners. And here comes Johnny Robledo.
Now batting for the Lumberjacks, center fielder number 1, Johnny Robledo.
That's the 5th walk of the game for Jensen Planaski. Robledo with a chance to add to this lead. Here's the first pitch, and that is in there for strike 1, lower inside corner of the plate. The 0-1 pitch, swing and foul back behind home plate, so the count 0-2. And with the speed of Satterley, you wonder if he's going to take second base on this pitch. The 0-2 from Planaski, and that is high. Satterley does take second base. So now 2 runners in scoring position for Robledo. And the pitch was high in there for ball 1, so the count 1-2. Here's the 1-2 from Planaski. And that ball is chopped to the second baseman, Martin. He's going to turn and flip over to first base. And it was a closer play at first than I'm sure the 64s would have liked. But as it stands, they get Gianni Robledo out, and that's going to end things in the bottom of the 3rd inning. We head to the 4th at All-Star Park. Your Jacks on top, 4-0.
Select game days, including right now.
Back here at All-Star Park, set to begin the 4th inning of play between the Colorado Lumberjacks and the Boulder 64s. Jacks on top 4-0, and Caden Cooper, the right fielder, will lead things off.
For Caden Cooper.
So Cooper with an open stance grounded the ball back to Jack Weiss in the 1st inning for the 2nd out of the game. Weiss's first pitch is high and outside. Weiss right now in a bit of a groove after going 1-2-3, 1-2-3, 1-2-3 in the first 3 innings, allowing 2 hits. Second pitch is there for ball 2. Count 2-0 against Cooper. Here's the pitch from Weiss. And Cooper fouls that one way back out of play, and that is going to get out of the property. Cooper with a very, very open stance out towards right field. Infield shaded in that direction. Regan playing back on the grass. Same thing with Caden Clifford. Here's the 2-1 pitch, and that is low for ball 3. Apologies, correction. It was not a 1-2-3 inning back in the 2nd. There was a double play and a strikeout. The 3-1 pitch is followed back towards the 64's dugout. But nonetheless, still 3 scoreless innings for Jack Weiss. And now he has the count full against Caden Cooper. Frenier playing normal depth at first base. Here's a 3-2 pitch, and that ball is going to be chopped to the gap. Diving to make a play on his Regan, and the throw to first base is not going to be in time as Clifford had to come over to make the play. Regan did well to keep that ball in the infield, but the speed of Cooper on full display as he legs it out to first base. Now Grant Sonke up to bat, number 21, playing center field for the 64s.
64 center fielder number 21, Grant Sonke.
Third hit of the ball game for the 64s. Weiss takes a look back at first base. And There's the first pitch to Sankey, and that's fouled high back out of play. Jesse Aguirre waiting in the batter's box. 1-1 pitch, and that's going to be fair as it gets by Fournier. It's going all the way into right field. Cooper on his horse around second. He is going to be held up at third base. Sankey goes to second on the double, but it's a no-out double for Grant Sankey. Now there's 2 runners in scoring position for the 64s with Jesse Aguirre up to bat.
Oh, Jesse.
Aguirre flew out to right field in the second inning, but now with a golden opportunity to get the 64s back into this ball game. Infield playing in at the corners, as well as at center infield positions. Now Regan will take a step back towards the grass. Here is the first pitch, and Aguirre follows that one back towards the Jacks dugout. Dangerous spot for the Jacks. Aguirre with an open stance towards the third base side. And the 0-1 pitch is low for ball 1. Here comes the 1-1 pitch from Weiss. Swing and a miss by Aguirre on a nice breaking ball low. So now the count 1-2. And what a big out this would be for Weiss if he can get Aguirre down. Here's the 1-2 pitch, breaking ball, and that ball is laced down towards the left field line and goes out of play, foul. So the count will remain 1-2. Crowd encouraging Jack Weiss to get this first strikeout of the inning. Weiss with 1 strikeout in the game so far. Looks down, doesn't take a look back at second base. Here is the 1-2 pitch to Aguirre, and that is low and away for ball 2. Bullpens here at All-Star Park out in the outfield. Behind that outfield fence. Here's the 2-2 pitch from Weiss. Breaking ball stays inside for ball 3, and the count now full. There's a bag to put Aguirre, although you do not want to walk the bases loaded with no outs. Here comes the full count pitch from Weiss. The 3-2, low and outside for ball 4. He walked him, and the bases are now loaded. And up to bat comes Yale Johnson.
For the 64's third baseman number 2, Yale Johnson.
Go Yale.
Johnson singled in the second inning and has a chance here with the bases loaded and no outs to open this game up, or actually get this game closer. One swing of the bat could tie it in the 4th inning. Here's the first pitch from Weiss, and that is in there for strike 1. So force out at any bag, infield in at the corners. Fournier standing at the edge of the grass. Perry just a step behind it. Here comes the 0-1 from Weiss. And that ball is smacked high into the air. Foul. This one's going to go back out of play. Count 0-2. So Johnson steps back into the box, playing third base today. Close stance for him. Number 2 for the 64s. Here comes the 0-2 from Weiss. Swing and a miss. Got Johnson to reach on that, and that is the first strikeout of the inning, and is the first out of the inning for the Jacks. The base is still loaded for Damian Alvarez now. And Alvarez grounded into a double play back in the second inning. Jacks hoping he can do the very same here.
Number 25, Damian Alvarez.
We talked about it earlier. Alvarez does have some pop in that bat. Playing designated hitter tonight. Here's the first pitch from Weiss. And he takes a look at a strike one right down the middle. Alvarez takes a second, steps back out of the box. Now he'll return. The 0-1 from Weiss. And that is a breaking ball high for ball 1. Audible groans coming from the Jacks dugout. Unsure about that call. It seemed like a little bit of a frame job by Satterley. Satterley setting up on the outside. Here's the 1-1. And that ball is launched into left field. This one's danger. But making the grab is Kyler Vaughn. 1 run will score. And nearly a play at second base, but able to get back was Grant Sankey. Caden Cooper scores on the sac fly from Damian Alvarez. And the 64s are on the board, but there's 2 outs now in the top of the 4th inning.
Now batting for the 64s, first baseman number 18, Logan Carney.
Still runners at first and second here for Logan Carney. Struck out to end the second inning. Here's the first pitch from Weiss, and that ball is grounded down the third base line. Goes foul. Count 0-1 against Carney. Arkansas Tech infielder. Weiss takes a look back at second base. Here's the 0-1 pitch, breaking ball inside for ball 1. So the count now 1-1. Sankey with a big lead at second base. Regan and Clifford both content to let him have that space. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that's low and in the dirt. Satterley blocks it. Count goes to 1-2. Apologies, 2-1. Close stance by Logan Carney. Here's the 2-1 swing and a miss on an inside pitch. I'm sure Carney would want to have that one back, as it was a hesitant, reluctant swing by number 18 for the 64s. And the count now 2-2.
Hello.
The fact with the bases loaded and no outs, if the Jacks can get out of this inning only surrendering 1, that would be a victory. Weiss ahead in the count, or even in the count, 2-2. Weiss doesn't take a look back at second. Now he does. Long look back at second. Here's the 2-2 to Carney. And that is low and away for ball 3, and the count now full. EJ Lane's the catcher on deck. Weiss hoping to not have to get to him. Full count, 2 outs, runners go. Check swing, did not go around, and that is a walk to Logan Carney. Now EJ Lane's up with the bases loaded and 2 outs.
Next up for the 64s, catcher number 8, EJ Lane.
So second time this inning, the bases are loaded. So Lane's grounded out to the shortstop in the third inning to lead things off. Here's the first pitch from Weiss, and that's low and away. Satterley blocking that. Count 1-0. Lane's with a chance to tie this game if he can clear the bases. Weiss now working. And here is the 1-0 pitch, and that is outside again. Satterley has to dive to make a stop. Now the coaching staff will come out for the Jacks to talk to Jack Weiss after those last two misses. Infield will remain in their spots. Satterley will come out to join the conversation. Lumberjacks looking for their third win in the Rocky Mountain Baseball League. They're sixth on the season. Up 4-1 over the Boulder 64s in the top of the fourth inning. Reminder, the Lumberjacks fell to the Boulder 64s by a score of 13-10 back on the 27th of June. Calendar now turning to July. More baseball ahead for this Colorado Lumberjacks team before the roster turns over and these fellas head back to their respective colleges. Long conversation being had at the pitcher's mound now. Home plate umpire coming out to make sure everybody's getting back to their spots. Count remains 2-0 against Lanes. Still 2 outs and still in a big spot for Jack Weiss, looking to get out of this inning, only surrendering 1 run. Here comes the 2-0 pitch from Weiss. Swing and a miss on a fastball. Got Lanes out in front of it. The count now 2-1. Runners with a big lead out at second base. The 2-1 pitch, and that ball is roped into left field. 1-1's going to score. Here comes the second run around second base. Carney's going to get all the way to third. Lanes is going to go to second, and that is a 2-run RBI double for E.J. Lanes.
Next up for the 64, second baseman number 27, Alex Martin.
Now, batting in the 9th spot, Alex Martin up to bat. Fifth hit of the game for Boulder as they look to turn the lineup over. Martin, the second baseman tonight, open stance. Still 2 men on. Carney on third. Lanes on second. And the Jacks still with a lead. There's the pitch from Weiss, and that's fouled back out of play. Count grows at 2-1. Apologies, that's 1-1. Martin grounded out to Frenier last inning. Lefty batter facing the righty pitcher. Here's the 1-1 from Weiss, and that is in the dirt. Satterley blocks that one again, helping to preserve this lead. Count 2-1. Lanes with a big lead at second base. The 2-1 pitch is high and outside for ball 3. So the count of 3-1. Parker Noah waiting on deck. 0 for 2 in the game is Noah. Here's the 3-1 from Weiss, and that is low for ball 4. So the bases loaded again.
Go, Parker.
Come on, Parker.
Parker Noah now with the chance, one swing of the bat to give the lead to Boulder. That's the third walk of the inning for Jack Weiss.
Now batting for the 64s, left fielder number 17, Parker Noah.
Caden Cooper on deck. And if he gets on, the 64s will have batted around the order here in the fourth. Weiss has to get Noah out. The first pitch is low in the dirt. Satterley doesn't play that one, and that's going to score the fourth run of the game as Logan Carney comes home to score, and the score is now 4-4. Lanes will advance to third base. Martin goes to second. Now with a slightly open stance here is Parker Noah. Hitting run for the 64s, just 90 feet away. There's the 1-0 pitch, and that's a breaking ball in there for strike one. Weiss looking to settle back down and find his rhythm that he had through the first 3 innings. Wind now picking up a little bit, blowing in from left field. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that ball is smacked foul back into the Lumberjax dugout. Count now 1-2 against Parker Noah. Looking to get Noah out for the third time today and keep this game tied. A 4 spot right now for the 64s has tied this game. Here's the 1-2 pitch from White, and that is going to tag Parker Noah and load the bases again. And that'll bring up Caden Cooper now with the bases loaded.
Next up for the 64s, second baseman number 4, Caden Cooper.
Jack Weiss, who was so solid through the first 3 innings, struggling a bit. With the score tied 4-4, still has a chance to get out of this inning. 2 outs, top of the 4th inning. Cooper up to bat, single to begin this inning. Righty versus lefty. Here is the first pitch from White. Breaking ball outside for ball 1. Weiss taking a good second here to find his pitch. Now he has it. Open stance for Cooper. The 1-0 pitch is fouled back behind home plate. So the count 1-1. And I believe Cooper has to get a new bat as he walks over back to the 64's dugout. He'll step back in, sporting a pair of red. I believe those are Adidas cleats. Doesn't go to the uniform, but we're not fashion police here. Count 1-1. Here's the pitch from Weiss, and that one is fouled back against the netting again, so the count 1-2. Weiss has to get the out here to Parker Noah. So here we go, ahead in the count, 1-2 against Noah. Weiss looking to get the out. Runners with big leads at all 3 bases. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That ball is going to be chopped to Regan. 1 hop over to Frenier, and that's going to end the inning. The 64s get 4. They tie the game. But the Jacks will bat in the bottom of the 4th when we come back to All-Star Park. You're watching a presentation of the Rocky Mountain Baseball League.
I was like, well.
Back here at All-Star Park, Kelly McGregor Field. Bottom half of the fourth inning. Jacks up to bat. Cooper Nider will lead things off. The Jacks had a
Leading off for the
4-0 lead
Lumberjacks. Left fielder
going into the
number
fourth
4.
inning. Saw that erased
Nider.
as the 64s were able to bat around. They were able to score 4. The hits after 3.5 innings so far. 5 for the 64s and 4 for your Lumberjacks. Snyder singled back in the second, takes a look at the first pitch, and that is a strike 1. Snyder having a big game yesterday. 2 doubles and a single, reached on an error. Planaski, who settled down after those first 2 innings, gets Snyder to swing on a breaking ball in the dirt. So another count quickly, 0-2 against Cooper Nider. Here comes the 0-2 pitch, and that is in there high for ball 1. So the count now 1-0 for Nider. Infield playing deep for the 64s. Outfield playing in with the wind blowing in, and Nider swings and misses on the 1-2 fastball. Goes down on strikes. That is a strikeout for Jensen Planaski.
Up next for the Lumberjacks, left fielder number 18, Kyler Vaughn.
That was Planaski's second strikeout. They'll bring up Kyler Vaughn now. Vaughn, RBI back in the second inning on a single. Here's the first pitch to Vaughn, and that's in there for strike 1. Planaski really finding his groove after giving up no runs in the third inning. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Vaughn. Swing and a miss again on a breaking ball low and in the dirt. Last 2 at-bats, he's gone fastball and then breaking ball, and the exact same results have happened. So another count 0-2. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Vaughn, another breaking ball, and that is a strikeout looking for Planaski, who's thrown back-to-back strikeouts here in the fourth inning.
Now batting for the Lumberjacks, shortstop number 20, Caden Clifford.
Caden Clifford now up to bat, walked in the first inning. Flew out to the right fielder back in the second. Now he'll step into bat, facing Planaski, who's found a whole new groove. Here's the first pitch to Clifford, and that is high for ball 1. Clifford with a closed stance. The 1-0 pitch, and that is a breaking ball in there for strike 1. Breaking ball really starting to work as this game has gone on. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that is a breaking ball that is slapped into center field. The wind is going to play some tricks on this one, but Grant Sonke is able to make the play. It's a 1-2-3 inning for the 64s, and they'll bat. When we head to the 5th inning here at All-Star Park, you're watching a presentation of the Rocky Mountain Baseball League. And we're back here at the 5th inning at All-Star Park. 4-4 game between the Lumberjacks and the 64s. 5th inning presented by Torchy's Tacos. If you're at the ballpark and now watching this broadcast, if Jack Weiss is able to get a strikeout in this inning, everybody's going home with free queso. And if that's not motivation enough to come down to the ballpark to check out your Colorado Lumberjacks, I don't know what is. They're giving away chicken sandwiches, queso, the whole 9 yards. So let's see if Jack Weiss can get a strikeout here in the 5th inning. And if the Jacks can go 1-2-3 in this tie ball game. And that first pitch is fouled back out of play. Graham Sankey up to bat. Sankey doubled back in the 4th inning. The 0-1 pitch from Weiss is going to be grounded to Perry at third base. The throw over to Franier at first base is in time, and that is a quick out for the Jacks, exactly what the doctor had ordered. 5-3 put out. That'll bring up Jesse Aguirre.
Shortstop number 31, Jesse Aguirre. It's spelled A-U-G-E or U-I-R-R-E. There was a player that was texted on who told us that it was Aguirre. She's just talking about that. It must be Aguirre. I'm going to go with Aguirre, though.
There's the first pitch to Jesse Aguirre. That actually made contact. It was in there for ball 1. But that ball made contact with the pouch on the side hip of the home plate umpire. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Aguirre, and that one is fouled back behind home plate. And that one actually gets through the protective fencing. And that was exactly where our camera was originally before we moved it back here into the box. Away teams coming to play the Jacks really have it out for our equipment. The count 1-1 against Aguirre. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball, slapped foul, nearly eviscerating the third base coach for the 64s, who ever so slightly moved out of the way at the last second. The count 1-2 against Jesse Aguirre. So here comes the 1-2 pitch from Weiss. Looking for queso. The 1-2 is going to be slapped in between the gap. Clifford can't make the play on it. It will go into left field, and that's a single. For the shortstop for the 64s. 6th hit of the game for the team from Boulder. Now Yale Johnson, the third baseman, up to bat.
Number 2, Yale Johnson.
Johnson getting some signals from the third base coach. Aguirre over there at first base, potentially with the steel sign on. Satterley has to be ready. Here's the first pitch. That is low for ball 1. So Weiss scoreless through the first 3 innings, gave up a 4 spot back in the 4th. Has 1 out here and a man on in the 5th. Aguirre with the big lead here. There he goes, and swinging and following that ball back was Johnson. So the count 1-1. Aguirre with a great jump. Satterley came out of the stance quickly, assuming that ball was going to get through. Now we'll see if Aguirre goes again. Small lead. Weiss takes a look back at first base. Franier with his glove ready to go. And Weiss will throw back over to first. Franier will make the tag, but Aguirre able to get back in time. Johnson playing straight up. Lead foot up in the air. The 1-1 pitch is low and inside for ball 2. So now Weiss looking in. Here's the 2-1. One out here in the top of the fifth. The 2-1 breaking ball stays inside for ball 3. Weiss taking a look back at first base. Takes another glance. Here's the 3-1. Runner goes, and that is going to be a ball outside. Satterley has to get it. Aguirre going to third base. The throw over to third is not in time, although Aguirre came off the bag, and the umpire who moved near the pitcher's mound is going to be calling safe. It does look like Aguirre slid off that bag, but unsure if that hand came off, so he'll go to third on the pass ball.
Now batting for
now
the
runners at the corners.
Designated hitter number 25, Damian Alvarez.
So Johnson walks. Up comes Damian Alvarez. Hit a sac fly in the 4th inning to score the first run for the 64s. Good base running by Jesse Aguirre. Here's the first pitch from Weiss, and that is a breaking ball outside for ball 1. Alvarez grounded into a double play in the 2nd inning. One-0 count to him. Infield playing decently in. There's the 1-0 pitch from Weiss, and that is outside for ball 2. We're unable to see much action going on in the bullpens, given their location of this park. Weiss's pitching numbers getting up there in the 5th inning. Here comes the 2-0 pitch, and that is low and away for ball 3. Just got confirmation the Jacks, in fact, do have somebody warming up in the bullpen in case Weiss is unable to get out Alvarez. Three-0 count, runners at the corners, only one out. Here's the pitch from Weiss, and that is low and outside for ball 4, so it's a 4-pitch walk. It's back-to-back walks for Jack Weiss, and I believe this is going to be the end of his day. As the Jacks coaching staff coming out, the call to the bullpen has been made. So Jack Weiss giving up 4 earned runs.
First baseman number 18, Logan Carney.
Pitches 4 1/3 innings. He is responsible for the 3 runners on base right now, but that's going to be his day. Jacks make a pitching change here in the 5th. We'll step aside while that pitcher warms up. You're watching a presentation of the Colorado Lumberjacks. Back here at the ballpark, 5th inning, bases loaded for Logan Carney. He was about to step up to the dish. New pitcher on the mound for the Jacks, Gino Maccarini. Maccarini played last night, 3rd base, and now is on the mound pitching for the Jacks in a tough spot. Getting confirmation Macarini is, in fact, a position player coming into a ball game all tied up with the bases loaded and 1 out. Hoping Macarini is able to get a ground ball here to Logan Carney, who struck out in the second. Walked in the fourth. Takes a look at a first pitch ball. And Carney takes a look at ball number 2 so quickly. Ahead in the count is Logan Carney. There's a chance here with the bases loaded. Macarini. Here's the 2-0 pitch, and that is a ball that is smacked into right field. Nider will make the grab. 2 runners will advance. The throw to third base is not in time. So the Jacks get an out. The 64s get a run as Jerry comes home to score. Johnson goes to third. Alvarez stays on first. That's a sac fly for Logan Carney. Now E.J. Lane's up to bat.
64s, catcher number 8, E.J. Lane.
And the first pitch by Macarini, swing and a miss by Lanes. Here's the 0-1, and that ball is swung on, and that is going to get into left field. 1 run is going to score as Johnson comes home. The lead is now 2 for the 64s. Alvarez goes to second. Alvarez goes to second. Lanes goes to first on the single.
Next up for the 64s, second baseman number 27, Alex Martin.
I think Mark played first last year.
So Macarini working against the lefty, and that ball is smacked right back to Macarini. He'll run over to first, pitches to Franier, and that's going to end the inning. The 64s get 2 more. They've taken the lead. The score is 6-4, and we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. The Jacks will bat. Stick around. You're watching a presentation of Colorado Lumberjax baseball. Welcome back to the ballpark. Ben Canvasser for the Colorado Lumberjacks. Thrilled to have you with us on what has turned into a relatively overcast and kind of cool night, actually, here in Lakewood, Colorado. Bottom of the 5th set to begin. Parker Fagan's up to bat. 0 for 2 on the evening with the fielder's choice and a ground out to shortstop in the 2nd inning. Jacks had a 4-0 lead going into the 4th inning, but then it's been 6 unanswered by the 64s. Offense looking to turn it around. They're going to have to do it with their 3-4-5 hitter. Fagans, Franier, and Perry due up here in the 5th. Jensen Planaski, after giving up 4 runs in the first 2 innings, has now thrown 2 scoreless, including a 1-2-3 inning in the 4th, headlined by 2 strikeouts of Cooper Nider and Kyler Vaughn.
Leading off for your Lumberjacks, designated hitter number 22, Parker Fagans.
We'll see what Fagans can do. 3rd time around facing Planaski. Here's the first pitch from Jensen. Breaking ball high for ball 1. 6 hits to 4 right now in favor of the team from Boulder, Colorado. The 1-0 is in the dirt for ball number 2. Fagan's ahead on the count. How big would it be for the Jacks to get the leadoff man on? Here's the 2-0 pitch, and that is a fastball that stays high for ball 3 in the count. Now quickly 3-0 in favor of Parker Fagans. Frenier waiting on deck, walked in the first, struck out in the 3rd inning. Infield playing very deep in the middle spot, including Aguirre and Martin. Here's the 3-0 pitch, and that stays inside for ball 4, so it's a 4-pitch walk, and the Jacks are in business here in the 5th.
Now batting for the Lumberjacks, first baseman number 34, Elias Frenier.
So here comes Frenier. Frenier DH'd last night in the loss to the BJs, playing first his normal position tonight. Lefty batter. And that is a breaking ball that stays high and away. So the count 1-0. Fagans does have some speed, has a decent lead at first base. Carney holding him on. Bonaski. Runner goes. The throw down to second base is high and outside. So Fagans takes second. The count 2-0 as well to Elias Frenier. And Fagans with another large lead at second base. Planaski with the 2-0 pitch, and that ball is fouled straight down into the dirt for strike 1. It's count 2-1. Frenier takes a second, steps out of the box. Now he's back in. Open stance from Elias Frenier. Here is the 2-1 pitch, and that is high for ball 3. This very much looking more like the Jensen Planaski we saw in the first 2 innings. And here's the 3-1. And that ball is fouled high in the air back behind us, hopefully, for the count now 3-2. That is free Chick-fil-A for somebody who gets on their horse to go get that baseball. And the count full to Elias Frenier. Here is the 3-2 pitch. And that ball is smacked high into the air towards right field. The first baseman, Logan Carney's going to make the grab. Fagans will stay put at second, and that's the first out of the inning.
Next up for your Lumberjacks, third baseman number 9, Zach Perry.
Brings up Zach Perry, singled back in the 3rd inning. With a runner in scoring position for the Jacks here in the 2nd. In the 5th. First pitch from Planaski, high for ball 1. Fagans with a sizable lead. Alex Martin holding him on. The 1-0 to Perry. And that is in there for strike 1. Infield playing deep in the middle positions. Here's the 1-1 to Perry, and that is inside for ball 2. Perry nearly went, was able to hold up. Perry standing in, close stance. Fagans with a big secondary lead, and that ball is lifted high into the air into left field. This one's deep, this one's back, this one's gone! Zach Perry, a 2-run home run, and this game is all tied up again. The Sweet sound of the bat there by Zach Perry, and that ball was lifted high into the air, even with the wind blowing in from the outfield. Right now, those flags very limp, but Perry tagged that ball. A 2-run shot from number 9, and we are all tied up at 6.
Next up for your Lumberjacks, number 5, second baseman, Mason Regan.
So that brings up Mason Regan. Base is empty and 1 out. But a massive hit by Zach Perry. 5th hit of the game for the Jacks. Breaking ball from Planaski into Regan is high for ball 1. Regan, 3rd time up to bat. Singled back in the 3rd inning, was thrown out at second base. The 1-0 pitch, breaking ball in there for strike 1. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Regan. That is a breaking ball smacked into right field. This one could be trouble, but making the grab is Caden Cooper for the 2nd out of the inning. So now Bryson Satterley up to bat.
Now batting for the Lumberjacks, catcher number 12, Bryson Satterley.
No, you were not.
Satterley up to bat, facing Planaski. Satterley 2 walks in this game. Base is empty with 2 outs. There's the first pitch in for ball 1. Or apologies, strike 1.
You have to be quiet. Yeah.
Here comes the 0-1 pitch from Planaski. Satterley low and away for ball 1.
The
1-1 count against Satterley. Here's the pitch, and that is low, and it gets away from Lanes for ball 2. Infield playing deep. Wind now starting to blow back again towards right field. Here's the 1-1 pitch. High for ball 3. Apologies, it was the 2-1 pitch. And count out 3-1. Still 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. The 3-1 pitch. And that is dropped for ball 4. So for the 3rd time in this game, Bryson Satterley walks. Now we'll bring up Johnny
Next up for the
Robledo.
Lumberjacks, center fielder number 1, Johnny Robledo.
So Robledo up to bat, walked in the 2nd, grounded out to the 2nd baseman. Back in the 3rd inning. Facing Planaski for the 3rd time. There's the first pitch low in the dirt, and Lanes makes a phenomenal scoop. And Satterley, incredibly fast, has already stolen a couple of bags today, and you have to believe he's going to be on the move here for the 3rd consecutive time. It's a 1-0 count to Robledo. Satterley stays put. There's a breaking ball high for ball 2. So now ahead in the count, 2-0. Satterley with a short first lead. He normally likes to take a decent secondary lead. There's that secondary lead. Doesn't go, and that ball is in there for strike 1. Planaski looking to get through 6 innings. Here's the 2-1 pitch, and that ball fouled straight back with a lot of velocity back towards the road, and now the count is 2-2. Two and two with 2 outs. Satterley staying put. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and that ball is chopped towards the third base side. Johnson's going to throw over to first base, and Robledo is safe at first. It was a long throw for Johnson to make at third base, and Robledo with the speed gets there on a base hit.
Next up for your Lumberjacks, left fielder number 4, Cooper Nider.
And now Cooper Nider up to bat with a runner in scoring position, and the Jacks could potentially take the lead here in the bottom of the fifth. One swing of the bat. Nider singled in the second inning, struck out in the fourth. There's the first pitch to Nider, and that's it. Ball 1. Planaski takes a look back at second base. The 1-0 pitch is high for ball 2 on the fastball. Satterley at second base with a very sizable lead. Taking more and more with every step. Here's the 2-0 pitch, and that ball is launched high into the air, back towards left field. Is this one gone? Yes, it is! 3-run shot by Cooper Nider, the second home run of the inning, and the Jacks lead by 3. 2 home runs to left field, and Cooper Nider on a tear in the last 2 games. Top of the order coming up. The Jacks needed a big inning, and they've gotten it 5 unanswered. And they lead this game 9-6. And the bases are empty. Still with 2 outs, top of the order up, and that's Kyler Vaughn. Planaski still on the mound. Here's the first pitch to Vaughn, and that is low and inside for ball 1. Vaughn with an RBI single in the second, struck out in the fourth. Does he have some juice in that bat? And that ball is going to get through the gap and into left field. Another hit for the Jacks in this inning, and this inning will roll on with Caden Clifford up to bat.
Next up for the Lumberjacks, shortstop number 20, Caden Clifford.
Jacks looking to bat around in the 5th inning. Parker Fagans, who led things off the walk on deck. Vaughn at first. And Clifford takes a look at a strike 1. A 1 count to Clifford. Here's the 0-1 pitch, breaking ball. Vaughn goes down to second. He's going to get there easily with the steal. So another runner in scoring position for the Jacks. And the count 1-1. Clifford once again with that open batter stance, swings and misses at a fastball down the middle for strike 2. Count 1-2 against Clifford. Vaughn with a sizable lead at second base. Planaski takes a look back there. Here's the 1-2 to Clifford. Swing and a miss. Got him swinging. But the damage done for the Jacks. 2 home runs in the 5th inning. A 2-run shot by Zach Perry tied it. A 3-run home run by Cooper Nider gives the Jacks a 9-6 lead. The 64 is up to bat when we come back. The 6th inning from All-Star Park. So we're back here at All-Star Park, set to begin the 6th inning of action between the Colorado Lumberjacks and the Boulder 64s, and a 5-run explosion for the Jacks.
Leading off at the 64th,
The bottom half of the fifth, the reason why the Jacks have the lead now,
Noah.
initially led this game 4-0, then it was 4 runs by the 64s in the 4th inning, 2 in the 5th, and then 2 home runs in the bottom half of the 5th inning by the Jacks, as Parker Noah flares that into right field, and that's going to be easy for Cooper Nider. 1 pitch, 1 out in the 6th inning for Gino Macarini, who's on the mound for the Jacks right now.
Next up for the 64th, second baseman number 4, Caden Cooper.
Caden Cooper up to bat, as I was saying, a 2-home run inning for the Jacks in the 5th. It was Zach Perry who had a 2-run shot to left field, and then Cooper Nider continuing this run of his over the last 2 games with a 3-run shot out to the left field. Jacks on top, 9-6. And already 1 out here in the top half of the 6th inning. 2-0 count right now to Caden Cooper. Grounded out to the second baseman to end the 4th inning. Macarini's pitch is outside for ball 3. So we count 3-0. Gino Macarini, normally a position player with a 3-0 count. That ball is over the middle for strike 1. Macarini played third base yesterday for the Jacks, on the mound right now. The 3-1 pitch is chopped to the shortstop. Clifford makes the grab, and that's 2 quick outs for the Jacks here in the 6th.
Next up for the 64th, center fielder number 21, Grant Sonke.
Grant Sonke now up to bat, had a double back in the 4th inning, grounded out to the third baseman, Zach Perry, last inning to lead things off, and Macarini with already 2 outs here in the 6th. Here's the first pitch, and that is a fastball that stays high and in for ball 1. Sonke also flew out to right field in the 1st inning. And is he going to do it again? Can Nider get there? Yes, he can! Cooper Nider making plays all over the field. Ends the inning. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Gino Macarini. And the Jacks with a 3-run lead will bat in the bottom of the 6th. We'll be right back from All-Star Park. You're watching this presentation of the Colorado Lumberjacks. Welcome back to All-Star Park. New pitcher on the mound for the 64's Jensen Planansky's day is done after pitching 5 innings. Aiden Chippendall now on the mound, a lefty pitcher.
22, Parker Fagans.
Parker Fagans will lead things off in the 6th inning for the Lumberjacks. Chippendall's first pitch to Fagans is fouled back. So the count 0-1. Fagans with a walk, a fielder's choice, and a ground out to shortstop in this game so far. First batter Chippendall is faced, and that is a fastball high for ball 1. Glendale Community College left-handed pitcher. One of 2 Glendale Community College players on this roster. Caden Cooper the other. The 1-1 from Chippendall is in there for strike 2. Fagans looking for an answer on that one. Looking like it may have just missed outside. In there for a called strike 2. So the count 1-2 against Parker Fagans. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss by Fagans. So Chippendall comes in, gets the first player to swing and miss. And that'll bring up Elias Franier now.
Next up for your Lumberjacks, first baseman number 34, Elias Franier.
Franier with a strikeout, a walk, and a fly out to the first baseman. Nobody on with 1 out. Here in the bottom half of the 6th inning, here's the first pitch from Chippendall, and that's low in the dirt for ball 1. Chippendall working. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Franier, and that ball is sent high into the air into center field. Sonke will camp under and make the grab, and that's 2 outs for the Jacks in the bottom of the 6th. Now Zach Perry up to bat.
Next up for the Lumberjacks, third baseman number 9, Zach Perry.
Perry had a 2-run home run last inning to tie this game up for the Jacks. Nobody on for him with 2 outs. And that ball's going to be lightly chopped back to Chippendall. Throw over to first is going to be in time. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Aiden Chippendall. And we head to the 7th inning at All-Star Park here in Lakewood, Colorado. Stick around. Exciting conclusion to this one. You are listening to a presentation of Colorado Lumberjacks baseball. Welcome back to All-Star Park, 7th inning between the Jacks and the 64.
For the Boulder 64's shortstop number 31, Jesse Aguirre.
Jacks lead 9-6 over the 64s. Gino Macarini still on the mound for the Jacks. Got a 1-2-3 last inning in the 6th. Jesse Aguirre now up to bat. And Aguirre swings at a first pitch fastball. It's the count 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch for Macarini, and that ball is smacked into center field. That's going to get down for a base hit. Second consecutive inning with a hit For Jesse Aguirre, it's his third hit of the game.
Next up for the 64s, third baseman number 2, Yale Johnson.
Yale Johnson now up to bat with a runner on. 64s trailing by 3. First pitch from Macarini is low and away for ball 1. The 1-0 pitch inside for ball 2 now. Count 2-0 against Yale Johnson, who walked in the 5th, singled in the 2nd, struck out in the 4th. Satterley setting up outside, and that is in there for strike 1. Macarini not throwing heat per se, but doing enough to get these batters to fly out. Here's the 2-1 pitch, and that is high and outside for ball 3. So Yale Johnson up to bat. Aguirre takes a large lead, and that is a walk for Yale Johnson, so he'll go down to first base. Still no outs.
Next up for the 64s,
2 men on for the 64s.
DH number 25, Damian Alvarez.
Damian Alvarez up to bat. Grounded into a double play in the 2nd, sac fly in the 4th, walked in the 5th inning, and he has 2 men on with no outs. Here's the first pitch from Macarini. Swing and a miss by Alvarez. Swinging out of his shoes there. Wants to tie this game up with one swing of the bat. The 0-1 for Macarini, and that ball is hit into center field. Robleddo's going to make the grab. Runner looking like he was going to tag. Instead, he'll go back to second base. First out of the inning for the Jacks.
Up next for the 64s, first baseman number 18, Logan Carney.
Logan Carney now up to bat. Sac fly in the 5th inning to score the 6th run of the game. So Carney with 2 men on. Macarini still on the mound. Forcing every base but home. The first pitch is fouled back out of play. So the count now 0-1 against Carney. Aguirre with a huge lead at second base, and Macarini's pitch in there for ball 1, much to the chagrin of the Jacks dugouts. Aguirre with a big lead at second, and that pitch is in there for strike 2. So now the count 1-2 against Carney. Macarini looking to get a strikeout. Here's the 1-2. High for ball 2. Just missing a little bit upstairs near the letters. So the count 2-2 against Carney. Massive lead by Aguirre. He goes. That ball smacked to second base. This is going to be a double play. Mason Regan, what a play. Regan was moving over to second base. Aguirre was gone before the pitch was even thrown. Regan makes the tag at second. It's a double play. The 64s get nothing. We stretch here at All-Star Park. The Jacks lead by 3. They'll bat in the bottom of the 7th when we return. Welcome back here to All-Star Park. Mason Regan's going to lead things off for the Jacks, who lead by
Leading off for
3.
the Lumberjacks, second baseman number 5, Mason Regan.
Regan, who made an incredible play at second base to turn a double play to end the attack by the 64s, will lead things off. Flew out to right field in his last at-bat. And this time he laces one into center field. This one's deep. This one's going to be trouble for the 64s, but no, making the grab is Grant Sonke. He had to run a country mile to chase down that ball and rob Regan of a double, maybe more.
Next
but
up
a
for
good
your
play
Lumberjacks, catcher
by
number
Sonke.
12, Bryson Satterley.
Bryson Satterley now up to bat with 1 out. Satterley has walked and walked and walked again. Now in his 4th at-bat in this game. However, the first time he's facing Aiden Chippendall, who's got a 1-2-3 in the last inning. And the first pitch is a ball to Satterley. So count 1-0. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and that is low and inside for ball 2. We're potentially looking at a cycle of walks here for Bryson Satterley. Ahead 2-0 against Chippendall. And the 2-0 pitch is also outside. Chippendall, here's the 3-0 pitch, and that is low for ball 4. So for the 4th time today, Bryson Satterley walks. And he'll go to first base.
Your Lumberjacks, center fielder number 1, Johnny Robledo.
Johnny Robledo. Now up there. Courtesy runner on for Satterley. Where's the pitch? 28. Kai Erlmeyer, the pinch runner for Bryson Satterley. The first pitch for Robledo was in there for strike 1. Erlmeyer with a short lead at first. Chippendall, the lefty, has a better eye at first base. The 0-1 to Robledo. And that ball is hit high into the air into right field. This one's deep. This one's trouble. This one's going to get up against the wall, and that's going to go over the fence for a ground rule double. Erlmeyer on his horse to third base, not knowing that was a ground rule double. So he'll go to third. Johnny Robledo with his 2nd hit of the game. 1 out in the bottom of the 7th. And 2 runners in scoring position.
Cooper Nider.
Cooper Nider now up to bat. Nider had a 3-run home run back in the 5th inning. Could this be deja vu for the Jacks? Here's the first pitch from Chippendall, and that is in there for strike 1. Single and a 3-run home run with a strikeout for Nider today. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball. Good pitch. Count 0-2. Infield playing very much in for the 64s right now at all 4 spots. Here's the 0-2 to Nider. High for ball 1. Nider with an open stance. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball in the dirt. Nider goes down for the 2nd time today. 2 outs, and now bring up Kyler Vaughn. Still 2 runners in scoring position.
Fielder number 18, Kyler Vaughn.
Vaughn up to bat. He was hit by a pitch. He struck out, but he also has 2 singles on the day. The first pitch from Chippendall is inside for strike 1. So Vaughn will step back into the box, singled back in the 5th inning. Erlmeyer at third. Robledo at second base. Vaughn follows that one back for count to go to 0-2. Caden Clifford on deck. But Vaughn's got to fight back in this at-bat. Look to build the lead. Here's the 0-2. Breaking ball outside for ball 1. Nine hits now in this ball game for your home Colorado Lumberjacks. 8 for the 64s. The 1-2 pitch from Chippendale. Breaking ball high that stays outside for ball 2. So 2-2-2 right now. 2 men on for the Jacks. And here comes the 2-2 from Chippendale, breaking ball. And that is a called third strike, and Vaughn can't believe it. It was a looking third strike, and that's going to do it for the Jacks attack in the 7th inning. They put up 0, but they still lead by 3. We'll go to the 8th inning here at All-Star Park. You're watching a presentation of the Colorado Lumberjacks. We're back here at All-Star Park. If you missed that in between innings, the United States has just taken the lead over Bosnia and Herzegovina in the 44th minute on a goal by Florian Balogun. That's for all you folks out there watching this game. Keeping both eyes here at All-Star Park as we head to the 8th inning. We score 9-6
catcher number
in favor of your Colorado Lumberjacks. E.J. Lane's now the batter. He'll chop this at the third base side. Perry's going to have to make a play over at first, and he's unable to make the transfer into his throwing hand. So Lanes advances on the error. And a first pitch shot by E.J. Lanes.
Up next for the 64, second baseman number 27, Alex Martin.
Alex Martin, the 9-hole hitter, up to bat. Walked back in the 4th, but other than that, it was a ground out to the pitcher and a fly out to Franier at first base. He takes a look at a first pitch ball by Gino Maccarini, who's still on the mound pitching. The 1-0 pitch is flared high into the air, and that's going out of play foul. So the count 1-1.
Yeah, we're going to do some switching around. We had Kai running. We didn't bring pants. Oh, whose pants he's wearing.
All right, so here's the 1-1 pitch for Maccarini, and that is high for ball 2. Lanes with a short lead at first base. Here's the 2-1 pitch for Maccarini, and that is low and outside for ball 3. So now the count 3-1. Parker Noah, the leadoff batter, waiting on deck for the 64s. Here's the 3-1 pitch for Maccarini, and that is in there for strike 2. So Maccarini with a chance to get a strikeout. It would be his first in this game. Came in for relief in the 5th inning. Here's the 3-2 pitch. That is outside for ball 4, so that is a walk. 2 men on, no outs in the top of the 8th inning. Top of the order coming up.
Up next for the 64s, left fielder number 17, Parker Noah.
So Noah, who flew out to center field in the first, grounded out to the second baseman in the third, was hit by a pitch in the fourth, and then flew out to right field in the sixth, up to bat with a runner in scoring position by E.J. Lanes, and there's a pitch, and that ball is roped into center field. Lanes on his horse, rounding third. The throw is not going to be made at home, or is it? It is, but it bounces into Satterley right as Lanes crosses home plate. So that is an RBI single for Parker Noah.
Up next to the 64, second baseman number 4, Caden Cooper.
Lanes comes all the way around from first base to score. Martin goes to second, so no outs. And the top of the 8th, 2 men on for Caden Cooper. And the first pitch to Cooper outside for ball 1. Score 9-7 now in the top of the 8th inning. Here is the 1-0 pitch, and that is inside for ball 2. Macarini working. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That ball fouled back high and out of play. So the count goes to 2-1. Grant Sankey waiting on deck, has a double in this game. Macarini looking to get the first out of the inning. Here's the 2-1 pitch, and that is in there for strike 2. So the count now 2-2 against Caden Cooper. How big would a strikeout be here for number 26 in black? Martin at second base with a decent-sized lead. Here's the 2-2, and that ball is roped. Regan's going to make the play. The throw over to second is in time. They're not going to get the man out at first, but that is the first out of the inning. So Regan gets the play at second base. There's 1 out. Runners at the corners.
Batting next for the 64s, center fielder number 21, Grant Sonkat.
Noah out at second base. Cooper with a fielder's choice advances to first. Grant Sankey now up to bat. There's the first pitch to Sankey. It's blocked. Satterley does well. The throw over to second base is high, but a great job coming over to make the play by Caden Clifford. The ball tipped off the glove of Mason Regan and right into the hands of Clifford. Otherwise, that for sure would have been a run. But nonetheless, as it stands, Caden Cooper to second base on the steal. It's a ball 1 pitch to the count 1-0. Now it's 2-0. Macarini looking to get the second out of the inning, preserve this lead. Here's the 2-0 pitch, and that is outside for ball 3. So the count now 3-0. Cooper at second base. Martin at third. Here's the 3-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. But the ball was fouled off as it gets by Satterley. So the count remains, or the count goes to 3-1. Macarini not a pitcher. The 3-1 is fouled away, but the count now full. There's a really big chance here for Macarini to get a strikeout or force the ball into play. Sankey takes a step out of the box. The count is full with 1 out in the top of the 8th inning. Here's the 3-2. And that ball is chopped up through the gap. That's going to score 1. It's potentially going to score 2 as around third base comes Noah. And Noah gets home safe. And this game is tied once again. A 2-run RBI single by Grant Sankey.
batting for the 64s, shortstop number 31, Jesse Ajiri.
So there's a runner at first base, and I believe that's going to be the end of Gino Macarini's day. This game is all tied up with 1 out and a 1 man on.
Hearing that it may be Parker, it is Parker Fagans.
So the new pitcher coming on is Parker Fagans. He will step in to throw when we come back to All-Star Field. The score 9-9 between the Jacks and the 64. Stick around. You're watching a presentation of the Rocky Mountain Baseball League. Here we are back in the top of the 8th inning. The 64s have tied it up 9-9. Jesse Ajiri now up to bat with 1 man on, and Parker Fagans now on the mound for the Jacks. First pitch from Fagans. Booming. Strike 1 on a fastball. So Fagans was the designated hitter today. And the count 0-1 against Ajiri. The 0-1 pitch, did he go? Yes, he did. 0-2. So Fagans off the bench and on the mound, quickly ahead, 0-2. Throwing some heat out of the gate. Let's see if Fagans can get him to swing and a miss. Here's the 0-2 pitch from Fagans. Breaking ball, or fastball, apologies, outside for ball 1. Not listed as a pitcher on the Jacks roster, but he has everybody here in the booth second-guessing ourselves and our stats because he is throwing some heat. Here comes the 1-2 from Fagans. That is a broken bat single into right field. Sanke around second base on his horse. The throw to third base is away from Perry, so it's a broken bat single by Ajiri. Sanke goes to third base. And there's still 1 out here in the 8th.
Up next for the 64 is third baseman number 2, Yale Johnson.
So now Yale Johnson up to bat. And if you remember last night's game, the score was a 2-run deficit for the Jacks until the BJs unloaded 8 runs against the Jacks on 4 home runs. And the Jacks now in a difficult situation. Runners at the corners, 1 out. Fagans. First pitch ball as Ajiri takes second base on the steal. So the count 1-0 to Yale Johnson. The 1-0 pitch in there for strike 1. Perfectly painting the outside corner of that plate. Johnson takes a step out, now a step back in, sporting a neon green shin guard. Count 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that is a fastball high for ball 2. Count 2-1 now against Johnson. 2 walks, a hit, and a strikeout for Yale Johnson today. 2-1 from Fagans is fouled back out of play, so the count 2-2. Geary at second base with a decent-sized lead. Regan and Clifford letting him take that lead. 11 hits now on the day for the 64s. The 2-2 from Fagans. And just outside for ball 3. Fagans can't believe it. The count now full. There is a bag to put him, although you do not want the bases loaded for Damian Alvarez. So Fagans takes a look back at second base. Here's the 2-2 to Johnson, breaking ball high for ball 4, and now the bases are, in fact, loaded with 1 out. Bringing up Damian Alvarez.
Up next for the Boulder 64s, designated hitter number 25, Damian Alvarez.
Alvarez flew out in the 7th inning. Had 2 men on in that situation. Now he's got bases loaded. Sankey at third, Ajiri at second, Johnson at first, and Alvarez takes a look at a first pitch ball. Fagans taking a look at third base. Here's the 1-0, and that is high for ball 2. Bases loaded for Damian Alvarez, who had a grand slam back in May in the state semifinals game against rival Eaton High School. Swing and foul that pitch away. So now Fagans taking a look back at second base. The 2-1 to Alvarez, and that ball once again is fouled high back in the air, back towards Sheridan. So now the count 2-2 against Alvarez. Gino Macarini coming out to give some balls to the home plate umpire. It was a clutch inning-ending double play by Mason Regan in the last inning to thwart the attack by the 64s. They have a play like that in them now. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Alvarez, and that's high and outside for ball 3. So now the count full. And this time there's nowhere to put Alvarez. So here's the 3-2. And that ball is hit high into the air towards right field. Nider's going to run and not be able to make the play as that ball kept drifting. The wind really picked up there, started blowing in from left field. That's why Nider was unable to get there. The count remains full. Would have been a good opportunity. Probably would have scored a run from third base, but with the bases loaded and 1 out, the run is okay to give up as long as you can get the out. You do not want Alvarez to do damage here. 1 error in this game for the Jacks, 0 for the 64s. The 3-2 from Fagans. In there for a called third strike. What a massive pitch by Parker Fagans. So a strikeout looking, and now there's 2 outs.
Number 18, Logan Carney.
Logan Carney now up to bat. Strikeout, a sac fly, a double play, and a walk in this game for number 18 from Arkansas Tech University. Here's the first pitch from Fagans, and that is inside for ball 1. So Fagans coming in a big spot. The game tied, bases loaded, top of the 8th inning. Jacks have Clifford, Fagans, and Frenier due up in the bottom half of the 8th. Ball 2 low and away. Go, go, go. And that ball gets by the pitcher, Fagans. Base runners not taking any chances. So the count 2-0 against Logan Carney. Once again, nowhere to put Carney. Bases are loaded. 2 outs. Here's the 2-0 pitch, and that is right down the middle for strike 1. Infield playing normal depth with 2 outs. E.J. Lanes, who began this inning with a single, waiting on deck. Here's the 2-1 from Fagans, and that ball is chopped to Perry. Perry's going to make the play at third, and that's going to end the innings. So Fagans comes in. The 64s get 3 runs. They tie this game, but with 1 out and the bases loaded, they're unable to get any more. We head to the bottom of the 8th inning. Caden Clifford will lead things off. You're watching a presentation of the Colorado Lumberjacks. All righty. Welcome back to All-Star Park. Set to begin the bottom half of the 8th inning. Wind's starting to pick up, blowing my score sheets all over the place.
Number 20, Caden Clifford.
Here comes Caden Clifford now. Up to bat to lead things off in this tie ball game. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. Chippendale still pitching, and first pitch is outside for ball 1. Clifford last time up to bat was back in the 5th inning. He struck out. This time he flares a ball into shallow center field. This one might drop, and it is going to drop. And Clifford gets a little too anxious on the base pass, and now he's caught in a pickle. 64 is trying to run him down, and they will. Clifford, not a good base running showing there as he rounded first with some aggression. He saw his loop single bounce high into the air, thinking maybe he could take second. But he gets caught in between a pickle.
Parker Fagans.
And he is out to begin the inning. Now Parker Fagans up to bat. Fagans struck out back in the 6th inning. Here's the first pitch to Fagans. It's ground to the third baseman, Johnson. The throw to first base is in time. So we've had 2 pitches from Chippendale. We have 2 outs. And the 5-3 play there. Elias Franier now up to bat.
First baseman number 34, Elias Franier.
Franier with a walk in the first, strikeout in the 3rd, and then he's flown out his last 2 at-bats in the 5th and the 6th. Needs to get something going here for the Jacks in the bottom of the 8th inning. Aiden Chippendale. First pitch to Franier is in there for strike 1.
Hey, get in there. Here we go.
Chippendale, talented left-handed pitcher from Glendale Community College. The 0-1 to Franier, and that ball is flared into left field, and that's going to get down for a base knock for Elias Franier. So now Zach Perry up to bat, and we all remember what he did back in the 5th inning. If you weren't with us, it was a 2-run home run over the ball back in left field.
Third baseman number 9, Zach Perry.
Wind a little bit stronger now blowing in than it was back in the 5th, but Perry with some power in that bat. Here is the first pitch to Perry, and that's outside from Chippendall for ball 1. Chippendall takes a look over at first base. The 1-0 pitch, and that is severely inside. Perry does well to avoid that. Count 2-0. And if I'm the Jacks, I am seriously considering sending Elias Frenier here. Lanes has not been able to get that ball to second base, especially with this wind blowing in. Here's the 2-0 pitch, and that is outside for ball 3, or maybe they won't have to. The outfield playing very deep with this wind that's blowing in from left field. Here's the 3-0 pitch, and that is in there for strike 1. Perry was ready to chuck the bat and head down to first base. All smiles as he looks back at the home plate umpire. Chippendall with the 3-1. Frenier stays put. 3-1 pitch, and that is also in there for strike 2. Just catching the outside corner of the plate. So now the count full to Zach Perry here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th inning. Chippendall takes a look over. Frenier goes, and that is outside for ball 4. So 2 men on, runner in scoring position for Mason Regan, who launched a ball out towards center field in the last inning.
Second baseman number 5, Mason Regan.
So Regan with a chance to do something special in the bottom of the 8th inning against Aiden Chippendall. Chippendall takes a look back at second base. Here's the first pitch to Regan, and that ball is fouled softly into the air over the 64's dugout. 11 hits aside now for both these teams. Count 0-1. Chippendall taking a look back at second base. Here's the 0-1, and Regan takes a look at a strike. Beautiful breaking ball right down the middle, and Regan behind 0-2. Oh, apologies. That was a ball? So the count remains 1-1. Chippendall taking a long look back at second base. Frenier with a big second lead, and that ball is inside for ball 2. So the count now 2-1. Bryson Satterley on deck. He has walked 4 times in this game, and you'd love for the bases to be open or loaded for him. That ball is shot to the second baseman. It bounces off the glove. Frenier's going to come home. He's going to get there safe. Perry goes to third. It's a bouncing ball that's not settled. Regan's at first, and the Jacks have the lead in the bottom of the 8th. So a ball that glanced off the glove of Alex Martin. Martin looking like he jumped a tad too early.
For your Lumberjacks, it's the catcher, number 12, Bryson Satterley.
So the runners at the corners with still 2 outs, and the Jacks have the lead. And Satterley now up to bat. Regan at first base. Perry at third. Regan gets thrown back to first base. If Satterley can get on base, Johnny Robletto's on deck. He's hit a single and a double in his last 2 at-bats. Got to build this lead. First pitch is fouled away by Satterley. Score 10-9 for the Jacks. The 0-1 pitch outside by Satterley. Or apologies, outside by Chippendall. Count 1-1. So here's the 1-1 pitch from Chippendall. Breaking ball stays outside for ball number 2, sensing a common theme here in these at-bats for Bryson Satterley. Regan with a decent-sized lead over at first base. You wonder if he's going to take second right here. Here's the 2-1 pitch. That ball is chopped down the first base line, just going foul. So the count now 2-2. Umpire taking a look back at the Jacks dugout as we have 4 more baseballs coming on. Gino Macarini getting some work done post his pitching outing in this game. 2-2 count. Chippendale, here's the pitch to Satterley, and that is just outside for ball 3. Just missing on the outside corner. And Bryson Satterley is looking for his 5th walk of the game. Chippendale looks over to first base. Here's the 3-2 pitch, and that is high for ball 4. That is the 5th walk of the game for Bryson Satterley. And now the bases are loaded for Johnny Robledo.
Next up for your Lumberjacks, center fielder number 1, Johnny Robledo.
Robledo, as I mentioned, a single in the 5th, a double in the 7th. He has 3 home runs on the year, and he has the bases loaded with 2 outs in the top of the 8th inning. Chance to extend the lead here for the Jacks. Big pitches upcoming for Chippendale. First pitch from Chippendale is dropped in the dirt. And Perry not willing to take the bag. So it's ball 1. And the Jacks still leading. Now E.J. Lanes will come out to have a word with Aiden Chippendale, who was so solid in his first 2 innings. Conversation will be had. Folks, just a reminder, Lumberjacks in business here at All-Star Park all throughout the month of July and going into August. If you are a fan of baseball, come check us out here at Kelly McGregor Field at All-Star Park. A lot of great giveaways, including from our friends over at Chick-fil-A Torchy's Tacos. If you're hungry, come to the ballpark, is all I'm trying to say. Here's the 1-0 from Chippendale, and that is a breaking ball. Beautiful pitch for strike 1. One count, bases loaded, bottom of the 8th inning, 2 outs. Chippendale, the 1-1. And that one gets also behind the catcher, and once again, Zach Perry a little hesitant at third base. Yeah, you wonder how important that run is at third. With the Jacks leading by 1. And due up is Lanes and Martin. And that'll be the top of the order for the 64s. 2-1 count. Here's the pitch to Robledo. Breaking ball outside. Called strike. So the count now 2-2. Little 2-2 action. Base is still loaded. Important at-bat for Johnny Robledo. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and that tags him. And that is a hit by pitch, and now Zach Perry will come in to score. And the Jacks lead is 2, and the bases are still loaded. Cooper Nider now up to bat.
Up next for your Lumberjacks, left fielder number 4, Cooper Nider.
Now Cooper Nider up to bat, and he delivered a 3-run moonshot back in the 5th inning. And he's been on an absolute tear. 2 for 4 on the game today with a single, 3-run home run, 2 strikeouts. Looks like Chippendale will stay in the ball game. Can Nider deliver another big moment for this Jacks team, looking for their 3rd win in the Rocky Mountain Baseball League? How big would it be to do it against their in-state rivals, the Boulder 64s? Wind starting to pick up now. Blow in. Base is still loaded here for Nider. Chippendall on the mound. One run would score two, or one hit would score two. With the speedy Erlmeyer at second base, and that is a breaking ball that just doesn't break as it stays outside for ball one. As Kai Erlmeyer, once again, courtesy running for Bryson Satterley. Robledo at first, Regan at third. A lot of speed on the base paths for the Jacks. The second pitch by Chippendall is inside for ball two. Nider ahead in the count, 2-0. Does he have another home run in him? Here's the 2-0 pitch. Right down the middle for strike one. That was a perfectly thrown strike right down the middle fastball. I'm sure Nider would have loved to have had back. Wind really whipping now in that outfield. Those flags out in left field. The 2-1 pitch. And that is in there for strike two. So now the count 2-2. Runs. Need more runs here in the bottom of the eighth. It's a 2-run lead for the Jacks. Parker Fagan's waiting to pitch. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and that is outside for ball three. So now the count full. Nowhere to put Nider. Kyler Vaughn waiting on deck. Big pitch upcoming. Full count, 2 outs. Bottom of the eighth. Bases loaded for Cooper Nider. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. What a massive strikeout by Aiden Chippendall to keep this game a 2-run lead for the Jacks, but it is, in fact, a 2-run lead. Jacks get 2 in the bottom half of the 8th inning. 64ers need 2 runs to extend this game. We head to the 9th inning at All-Star Park. You're watching a presentation of the Colorado Lumberjacks. Welcome back to All-Star Park. It's do or die time for the 64ers. Jacks looking for their 3rd conference win this season. They lead by 2. Parker Fagan's on the mound, and the Jacks are 3 outs away from a win. EJ Lanes will lead things off for the 64ers. The first pitch is in there for strike one. Fastball right down the middle by Parker Fagans. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and that is outside for ball one. So they count 1-1. Fagan's working quickly. The 1-1 pitch, and that ball is chopped. Perry's going to come up to make the play. The throw over to Frenier is in time. That's 1 out. So a 2-pitch at-bat there by Lanes. It's a 5-3 put-out. And now Alex Martin up to bat.
Now batting for the 64ers, second baseman number 27, Alex Martin.
Martin, lefty versus righty. Here's the first pitch from Fagans, outside, ball one. Here's the 1-0 from Fagans, and that ball is going to be chopped to the second baseman, Regan. Oh, and Regan's unable to hold on to that ball. Took his eye off at the last second, and that's going to be an E4 as Martin gets on bag.
Up next for the 64s, left fielder number 17, Parker Noah.
Now it's the top of the order, Parker Noah, who had an RBI back in the 8th inning. And man, that was an out the Jacks needed. A routine play to the second baseman, Regan. So now Fagan's working against Noah. The first pitch is low and in the dirt. Satterley will take a look down to first base to see if Martin's moving. So now the count, 1-0. Still one out. Here's the 1-0 from Fagans. Swing and a miss by Noah. Way behind that pitch. Noah steps back into the box. 1-1 count. Fagans looks in. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that ball is smacked up through the gap, and that's going to get a goal. Martin's going to head to second base. Noah on first. It's a one-out single. Now 2 men on for the 64s.
Up next to the 64th, second baseman number 4, Caden Cooper.
So Noah at first, Martin at second, Caden Cooper up to bat. Cooper, another lefty versus a righty. Fagans looking to get another one of those ground balls. Here's the first pitch from Fagans. Outside, ball 1. Cooper's been on the bases twice today. Fagans takes a look back at second base, the 1-0 pitch, and that ball is chopped to Perry at third. Is this going to be a double play to end the game? It is not, but Perry's going to get the lead runner out at third base. And now the 64s are down to their final out, and the Jacks are one out away from victory.
Up next for the 64s, center fielder number 21, Grant Sonke.
So Parker Fagans 1 out away from a Lumberjax victory. And Grant Sonke up, singled in the 8th inning. Fagans takes a look back at second base. Here's the first pitch, and that is in the dirt, but good stop by Satterley. Count 1-0. Important stops there, not allowing runners to advance. Sonke does have some power. Ahead in the count 1-0, here's the 1-0 pitch, and that is high and inside for ball 2. Fagans will grab the ball, get back on the rubber behind the count 2-0. 2 outs here in the top of the 9th inning. Here's the 2-0 from Fagans, and that ball is flared into right field, and it just goes foul. Oh, boy, that would have been 2. Foul by about a foot. And the count is 2-1. Everybody taking deep breaths here at All-Star Park. So we'll reset things here. Count 2-1 against Sonke. Alex Martin at second base. Here's the 2-1 swing and a miss on a changeup. Where did that come from? And now the Jacks 1 strike away from winning this ball game. 2 men on for the 64s. Fagans on the mound. Takes a look back at second base. Here's the 2-2. And that bounces in. Satterley blocks it. Nobody advances in the count, as is full. Full count, 2 outs. Top of the 9th inning. 64s are down to their last strike. Infield playing normal depth. So is the outfield. Parker Fagans on the mound working against Grant Sonke. Fagans takes a look back at third base. Here's the 3-2. And that ball is going to be chopped to Perry. Perry's going to come up and make the play, but it's going to be better interference, and that is the ball game. They are going to get Parker Noah out at third for fielder's interference. Check that. It's Alex Martin, number 27, who ran in front of Zach Perry. And that is the ball game.
Unreal.
Interference in the field.
Know what you're talking about before you call it.
And the 64 stunned with the decision, but the only decision we have here in the booth is that is a Colorado Lumberjacks victory, their third of the season in the Rocky Mountain Baseball League. Coming back after 2 losses to the BJs, they get a win over Boulder. And a big victory indeed. Thank you so much, folks, for sticking around with us today. The final score from All-Star Park here at Colorado Lumberjacks 11, the Boulder 64s 9. Ben Canvasser here for the Colorado Lumberjacks. Thank you so much. So long from All-Star Park. To bring them the garden game. There's not much time left today.